Welcome to Emma's English.
Hey, English learners, welcome back to Emma's English Talk, your cozy little place to learn real, everyday English through natural conversations. I'm Emma.
And I'm Tom. We are so happy to have you join us today for another casual chat. How have you been, Emma?
I have been doing really well, Tom, though my morning started with a very specific kind of frustration that I think almost everyone can relate to.
Oh, really? Don't tell me you spilled your coffee again, or was it something to do with your keys?
No, actually it happened inside my bedroom while I was simply trying to choose an outfit for today's recording.
Ah, the classic wardrobe dilemma, where you look at a closet full of clothes and think, I have absolutely nothing to wear.
Well, yes, that is always a challenge, but this morning it was a physical struggle with the actual wardrobe itself.
Now you have me curious. What kind of physical struggle are we talking about here? Did the closet door get stuck again?
No, the door was fine. It was my clothing hangers. I went to grab a nice silky blouse, and as soon as I touched the hanger next to it, the blouse just slid off and landed in a messy pile on the floor.
Oh, I know that feeling so well. It is like a slow-motion tragedy happening right in front of your eyes.
It really is. And the worst part is that once one piece of clothing falls, it seems to start a chain reaction with the other clothes.
That is so true. It's like they're all waiting for the perfect moment to jump off their hangers and escape onto the floor.
Exactly. I ended up spending my first 10 minutes of the day bending down, picking up smooth fabrics, and trying to hang them back up.
It sounds like your morning was a test of patience, Emma. I must admit, I face a very similar issue in my own closet, although my clothes are a bit different.
Really? I thought this was mostly an issue with women's clothing, especially things made of silk, satin, or lightweight polyester.
Not at all. Men have plenty of slippery synthetic athletic shirts, smooth dress shirts, and even lightweight jackets that refuse to stay on standard plastic hangers.
That makes me feel a bit better, knowing I'm not the only one dealing with this closet chaos.
You are definitely not alone. In fact, I think the design of the standard hanger has some major flaws that we all just accept as a part of life.
Yes. Why do we continue to use things that fail at their one job? Their only purpose is to hold clothes up, and yet they let them fall so easily.
It is a mystery of the modern household. We have technology to send rockets to space, but we cannot keep a shirt on a piece of plastic.
That is a hilarious way to look at it, Tom, but it's so accurate. It's a tiny daily battle that we all fight silently in our bedrooms.
Well, today we're going to bring this silent battle into the spotlight and talk all about the struggles of clothes hangers and closet organization.
I think our listeners will find this incredibly relatable, and we have some fantastic vocabulary and expressions to share along the way.
Absolutely. It's the perfect topic to practice natural conversational English because it's about those little moments in daily life that connect us all.
So, grab a cup of tea or coffee, make yourself comfortable, and let's dive into the wonderful, sometimes annoying world of closet organization.
So, Emma, let's talk about the specific hangers you use, because I feel like the material of the hanger makes a huge difference in this battle.
You are so right, Tom. For the longest time, I was using those cheap, colorful plastic hangers that you can buy in large packs at any supermarket.
Ugh, the classic plastic ones. They are cheap, they come in every color of the rainbow, but they are incredibly smooth, which is a recipe for disaster.
Yes, clothes just slip off them if you even breathe too hard near the closet.
Wait, slip off? You mean when they slide off the hanger easily because the surface is too smooth and has no grip, right?
Exactly, Tom. When a shirt has a wide neck or is made of smooth material, it will slip off, meaning it slides right off the hanger and falls down with the slightest movement.
That is the perfect explanation. And those plastic hangers have absolutely no traction or grip to stop that sliding action from happening.
None at all. I also tried those thin wire hangers that you get for free from the dry cleaners, which are actually even worse.
Wire hangers are the absolute worst. Not only do clothes slip off them constantly, but they also leave those weird pointy shoulder bumps on your sweaters.
Yes, those shoulder bumps are terrible. They make you look like you have little wings on your shoulders when you put the sweater on.
It is so true. It completely ruins the shape of a nice knitted sweater or a soft cotton t-shirt.
So,
After dealing with the wire hangers and the plastic hangers, I decided to upgrade to wooden hangers because they look much nicer and more elegant.
Wooden hangers do look very professional and neat. They give the closet a nice, organized look, like you are walking into a high-end clothing boutique.
They really do, and they are much sturdier. But unfortunately, I found out that polished wood is also quite slippery.
So even the fancy wooden hangers did not completely solve your problem.
No, they did not. In fact, my favorite silky blouse seemed to find the wooden surface even more slippery than the plastic one.
That must have been so disappointing after spending money to upgrade your closet.
It was. Finding my clean, freshly ironed clothes on the dusty floor of my closet is honestly my biggest pet peeve.
Ooh, a pet peeve. That is a great expression. You mean a specific thing that really annoys or bothers you more than other things, right?
Yes, exactly. A pet peeve is a minor annoyance that is particularly irritating to a specific person. Some people hate loud chewing, but for me, it is fallen clothes.
I can totally understand why that would be a pet peeve. It's because you put in the effort to wash, dry, and iron the clothes, only for them to get dirty on the floor.
Yes, it feels like all my hard work is wasted in a split second, just because of a bad hanger.
It really is a test of patience. For me, my biggest pet peeve in the closet is when the hangers get tangled together.
Oh, when the metal hooks get locked together like a puzzle and you try to pull one out, but 3 others come with it?
Yes, you pull one hanger and suddenly there's a loud clattering sound as 5 hangers fall to the closet floor in a tangled mess.
That is incredibly annoying too. It seems like hangers have a mind of their own and just want to cause trouble.
They really do. Sometimes I feel like they are actively working against me when I'm in a rush in the morning.
And when you're in a rush, everything seems to go wrong. Having to rehang a shirt 3 times when you're already running late can really drive me up the wall.
Drive you up the wall. That is a very vivid expression. Does it mean to make you feel extremely annoyed, irritated, or even a little bit crazy?
Yes, that is exactly what it means. When something drives you up the wall, it frustrates you so much that you feel like you're losing your mind or climbing the walls with annoyance.
I love that idiom. And yes, trying to get ready for an important meeting while your clothes refuse to stay on their hangers would definitely drive anyone up the wall.
It really does. You're trying to put on your shoes, grab your bag, and then you hear that soft, sliding sound from the closet, and you know another shirt has fallen.
It's the sound of defeat, just a gentle rustle of fabric followed by a soft thud on the floor.
Exactly. And then you have to decide whether to leave it there on the floor and deal with it later, or take the time to hang it up again and risk being late.
That is a tough choice. Usually if I'm in a hurry, I'll just leave it there, but then I feel guilty all day thinking about my messy closet.
I do the same thing. But when I come home after a long day of work, the last thing I want to see is a pile of clothes waiting for me on the floor.
Yes, it's like a physical reminder of your morning stress, greeting you as soon as you open the door.
It really is. It makes the whole bedroom feel messy and disorganized, which doesn't help me relax at all.
I think the environment of our room has a big impact on our mental state. A clean, organized space helps us feel calm, while a messy closet does the opposite.
I completely agree. There's a real sense of peace that comes from opening a beautifully organized wardrobe where everything is in its place.
But achieving that peace is much harder than it looks, especially when you have a closet that is small or has limited hanging space.
Oh, absolutely. My closet is not very big, so space is always a premium, which makes the hanger situation even more critical.
When you have to squeeze too many clothes onto a single rod, the pressure from the other clothes actually pushes them off the hangers even faster.
Yes. When you try to slide one shirt over to look at another, the friction from the neighboring clothes just drags the shirt right off its hanger.
It's like a domino effect. One shirt moves, rubs against the next, and down they both go into the closet abyss.
It's a constant battle of physics in there. I sometimes wish I had a walk-in closet with plenty of space between each hanger.
A walk-in closet is the ultimate dream for many of us. Just rows and rows of neatly spaced clothes with no crowding at all.
But until we get those dream closets, we have to find ways to manage with the space we actually have.
Yes, we have to become creative problem solvers in our own homes, finding hacks and tricks to make our small wardrobes work.
Which is actually quite fun in a way. although it requires a lot of trial and error.
Definitely. I've tried so many different organization methods over the years, some of which were complete failures, while others actually helped a bit.
I think we should share some of those failures and successes, but let's take a moment to talk about how a messy wardrobe can grow out of control so quickly.
Yes, it starts with just one fallen shirt, and before you know it, the entire bottom of your closet is covered in a colorful mountain of fabric.
And once that mountain starts to grow, it becomes much harder to motivate yourself to clean it up and organize it properly.
It's like a mountain of procrastination. You look at it and say, I'll deal with that this weekend. And then the weekend comes and goes, and the pile is even bigger.
Exactly. It's so easy to just ignore it and keep closing the doors so you don't have to look at the mess.
But out of sight is not always out of mind. You still know the mess is there, waiting for you.
Yes, it's always there, lurking behind the doors, ready to slide out and surprise you.
It really is a struggle. And speaking of the mess, my closet is so cluttered that I can barely find a place to hang a simple winter jacket.
When you say cluttered, Calm, you mean it is untidy, messy, or filled with too many things in a disorganized way, right?
Yes, precisely. When a space is cluttered, it is crowded with objects, making it difficult to use or navigate. My closet is packed with old jackets, sports gear, and clothes I have not worn in years.
I think a cluttered closet is something almost everyone struggles with. We tend to hold on to clothes for sentimental reasons or because we think maybe I will wear this again someday.
Yes, that maybe I will wear this again someday is a very dangerous thought. It is how you end up with a closet full of things you have not touched in 5 years.
I am definitely guilty of that. I have sweaters from my high school days that I cannot bring myself to throw away, even though they do not fit me anymore.
It is hard to let go of things that are connected to good memories, but at some point, we have to make room for the clothes we actually wear every day.
Yes, decluttering is the first step toward a peaceful wardrobe. But even after you declutter, you still have to deal with the physical hangers.
True. So what did you do to solve your slippery hanger issue after the plastic and wooden hangers failed you?
Well, I started looking up online hacks because I did not want to buy yet another set of expensive hangers.
Internet life hacks. They can be very creative, though some of them are incredibly impractical. What did you find?
The most common suggestion was to use hot glue. You take your glue gun and put a few dots or wavy line hot glue along the shoulders of the plastic hangers.
Oh, that's interesting. Once the glue dries, it becomes rubbery and creates traction so the clothes cannot slide off, right?
Yes, that is the theory. And it actually works quite well for a while. The only problem is that over time, the hot glue can peel off, or worse, it can snag on delicate fabrics.
Oh, that does not sound good. If the glue snags a nice silk shirt, it could ruin the fabric completely, which defeats the whole purpose.
Exactly. I tried it on a few hangers, but I was too worried about ruining my nice blouses, so I had to find another solution.
What other hacks did you come up with? Did you try the rubber band method?
I did. I had to resort to wrapping thick rubber bands around the ends of the hangers to keep things in place.
To resort to something. That means you had to do something as a last option because you didn't have any better choices left, right?
Yes, that is correct. When you resort to an action, it's not your first choice, but you do it because other methods have failed and you are desperate for a solution.
Wrapping rubber bands around hanger ends definitely sounds like a desperate, temporary solution, although it is quite clever.
It did look a bit cheap and ugly, to be honest. Every time I opened my closet, I saw these colorful rubber bands wrapped around my wooden hangers, which ruined the elegant look I wanted.
But did it work? Did the clothes stop falling?
It did work. The rubber bands provided just enough friction to stop the shirts from sliding off. But it was very annoying when I actually wanted to take a shirt off the hanger.
Oh, because the rubber band would grip the fabric too well, and you'd have to fight with the hanger to get your shirt off?
Yes, I would pull the shirt and the hanger would come flying out of the closet with it because the grip was too strong.
That sounds like it would also drive you up the wall, just in a different way.
It did. It was a classic case of solving one problem, but creating another.
So what was the ultimate solution? Or are you still using the rubber band hangers today?
Thankfully, I am not. A friend of mine recommended velvet-coated hangers, and they honestly changed my life.
Velvet hangers. I've seen those in stores. They're very thin and covered in a soft, fuzzy fabric, right?
Yes, they are also called flocking hangers. They're extremely thin, which saves a lot of closet space, and the velvet texture has the perfect amount of grip.
So they really save the day because nothing ever slides off them, but they don't snag your delicate clothes either.
Exactly. They completely solved my closet disaster.
To save the day, that is such a great expression. It means to produce a good result when things are going badly or to solve a major problem just in time, right?
Yes, that's it. When someone or something saves the day, they rescue you from a difficult situation. For me, those velvet hangers truly saved the day.
I think I need to buy some velvet hangers for my own closet. My cluttered wardrobe could definitely use a rescue.
I highly recommend them, Tom. They're not very expensive, and because they're so thin, you can fit almost twice as many clothes in the same space.
That sounds amazing. Squeezing my jackets and shirts into my current space is always a struggle, so doubling my closet space would be incredible.
It really makes a huge difference. Plus, they look very neat and uniform because they're all the same color and shape.
Yes, having matching hangers makes a closet look so much more organized, even if you have a lot of clothes inside.
It really does. It gives you a small sense of accomplishment every time you open the closet doors.
It's funny how such a small household item can have such a big impact on our daily routines and our mood.
It really is. We don't often think about hangers as being important, but when you think about how many times a day we interact with them, it makes sense.
Absolutely. From the moment we get dressed in the morning to when we put our clothes away at night, they're a constant part of our routine.
And dealing with minor frustrations like slippery hangers can really add unnecessary stress to our day.
Yes, life has enough big challenges, so we should try to eliminate as many small, annoying struggles as we can.
I couldn't agree more, Tom. A peaceful home starts with the small details.
Before we finish up, thinking about our struggles with clothes, hangers, and closet clutter reminded me of some great natural phrases we use today that can really help our listeners sound more fluent.
That is a wonderful idea, Tom. We used some really common idioms and expressions that native speakers use all the time when talking about daily life.
Yes, and using these phrases naturally can really make your English sound more authentic and expressive.
Let's look at the first phrase we discussed, which was to slip off. This is a very natural phrasal verb.
It is. We use it to describe something sliding off a surface, especially when it is smooth or when there is no grip.
For example, you can say, my glasses keep slipping off my nose because it is hot today.
Or, the blanket slipped off the bed while I was sleeping. It is a very versatile phrase.
And then we had the expression pet peeve, which is one of my favorite terms to describe those little everyday annoyances.
Yes, everyone has at least one pet peeve. It is not a major life problem, just a small thing that really bugs you.
My husband's pet peeve is when people leave empty milk cartons in the fridge.
Oh, that is a classic one. My pet peeve is when people don't stand to the side on escalators.
See? We all have them. It is a very useful phrase to share your personality and preferences with others in English.
Next, we use the idiom to drive someone up the wall. This is a great way to express strong frustration.
It really is. Instead of just saying, this is very annoying, you can say, this loud noise is driving me up the wall.
It sounds much more natural and emotional, which is perfect for casual conversations.
Then we talked about a cluttered space. This is a very common adjective to describe a messy or crowded room.
Yes, you can have a cluttered desk, a cluttered closet, or even a cluttered mind when you have too many thoughts.
I love that. A cluttered mind is a very poetic way to describe feeling overwhelmed.
We also use the phrase to resort to something. This is useful when you have to choose a path that wasn't your first preference.
Exactly. For example, because it was raining heavily, we had to resort to ordering food online instead of going to the restaurant.
It shows that you did something because you had no other good options.
And finally, we had to save the day, which is a wonderful positive idiom to describe a great solution.
Yes, if you forget your wallet but your friend offers to pay for your meal, you can say you really saved the day.
It expresses deep gratitude and relief in a very friendly, colloquial way.
These are all such practical phrases for everyday situations, and practicing them in context is the best way to remember them.
Absolutely. Try using them in your own daily conversations or even writing them down in a study journal.
Speaking of remembering new words and practicing your English, did you know we have a PDF script available for today's episode?
Yes, that is right. For those of you who want to take your learning to the next level, our PDF script is a fantastic resource.
It is incredibly helpful because you can read along while you listen, which is great for improving your pronunciation and spelling.
You can also use it for shadowing practice, which is when you repeat what we say at the same time to build natural speaking rhythm.
It is a method used by many successful language learners, and having the clean text in front of you makes it so much easier.
To get your hands on the PDF script, just click the link in the description below or check the pinned comment.
It is completely free, and it is our way of supporting you on your English learning journey.
And if you are enjoying our conversations and finding them helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
Yes, subscribing and hitting the notification bell ensures you never miss a new lesson with us.
We love creating these episodes for you, and your support really helps us keep going and making more content.
All right, and speaking of reviewing and making sure these phrases really stick in your mind, let's do a quick recap before we say goodbye today.
Yes, let's go on a short word tour and look at our 6 target expressions one more time with some fresh examples.
First, we have to slip off. Remember, this means to slide off a surface easily.
For example, the silk scarf slipped off the chair and landed on the floor.
Second, we have pet peeve, which is a specific minor annoyance that bothers you personally.
An example would be, his biggest pet peeve is when people are late for dinner.
Third, we have the idiom to drive someone up the wall, meaning to make someone extremely annoyed or irritated.
For example, the constant dripping of the kitchen faucet was driving me up the wall.
Fourth, we have cluttered, which describes a space that is messy, untidy, or crowded with too many things.
An example is, she spent the afternoon cleaning her cluttered desk to prepare for the exams.
Fifth, we have to resort to, which means to do something as a last option because you have no other choice.
For instance, when the bus didn't arrive, they had to resort to walking home in the rain.
And sixth, we have to save the day, which means to solve a problem or prevent a disaster just in time.
An example of this is, the mechanic saved the day by fixing our car right before our road trip.
Well, Emma, discussing these everyday struggles and sharing these phrases has been so much fun today.
It really has, Tom. I hope our listeners found this episode both helpful and relatable.
I am sure they did. It is these little daily struggles that connect us all, no matter where we are in the world.
What about you guys? Do you struggle with slippery hangers or a cluttered closet? What is your biggest daily pet peeve? Let us know in the comments below.
Yes, we really want to read your answers and chat with you in the comment section.
Thank you so much for listening to Emma's English Talk today. Keep practicing, stay positive, and we will see you in our next conversation.
Have a wonderful day, everyone, and happy learning. Goodbye.